Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of this build series where we are putting together the Seagull Czech Mate, and this episode we're going to be doing the retracts, the canopy, the pilot, and the exhaust. So let's head over to the bench and get to work. Alright, so here are the wings. Last episode we did the ailerons and the flaps, but wait, let's hold on. Today we're doing the retracts, and in this shot you see the chrome gear doors. Really quick, I want to go through some of the history of the wing color of Czech Mate and just talk through why these gear doors are silver. I don't know. But first of all, let's start with 1998. And in fact, at that time, it had like a white cream wing, rudder, and vertical stab in 1998. When it comes back in 2000, that's when we first see the blue wings, blue gear doors, blue rudder, and vertical stab. We go to 2001, again, blue wings. However, the Reno races were canceled for the terrorist attacks during 9/11. We come back to 2003. This is the first time we see gray wings on Czech Mate, but the blue rudder and the blue vertical stab. So it had blue wings 2000 to 2001 to 2002, but gray wings in 2003. And so what's interesting is that Seagull, when they released the promo pictures for Czech Mate, we see that they in fact had blue gear doors. So at some point someone decided to have blue gear doors, and then I got one of the first runs of the Czech Mate and it had silver. So at some point someone had to make a decision, and I think they looked at the box, they did the pictures for the box and used this picture here showing gray gear doors. They didn't really look close enough and said, wait a second, this picture we have on the box has gray gear doors, so let's go ahead and make the gear doors silver for some reason. I don't know. But if you look closely, you can see that the wing is gray here. So either way, whatever it is, the bottom line is that they were originally blue. Someone at the last minute decided to make the gear doors gray. It's not that big of a deal. This is probably more information that you guys wanted to hear about the color scheme, but it's important to me and I had fun researching this stuff for you. So in the end, we're going to deal with blue wings and chrome gear doors, but just so you know, now you know a little bit more of the history around it. Again, let's go back to the wings. We got everything ready. Let's go ahead and install these retracts. So let's go ahead and cut out the covering on the wing. We use my flashlight trick to shine some light so we can see the pattern, and we take a Sharpie and leave a little bit of the pattern so we can fold over the covering really nice and easy. In fact, you see here, I'm going to use my brand new Legend Hobby X-Acto knife. The newer your blade is, the easier this is going to be. This is a brand new blade. You can see how it's just cutting through here. You'd be surprised how this same blade doing the other wing, it's not going to work this good. So make sure you use a brand new blade. Cut along the line. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just leaving a little bit of a overlap so we can fold those over and make it look really nice. This is the same process as the Perestroika. In fact, I'm going to show some of that footage right here. Now, what I'm not going to show with Czech Mate is going over with a small iron and cutting some relief holes so we can go around and make the surrounding edge of the wheel well as nice as possible. You can see I cut little relief cuts in the covering and just went around and secured it around the wheel well. All right, so here is the new JP retract that this wing is now designed for. But let's go back and show the two other versions of retracts that previously came with it. You can see it just slides in there from the front. Now, the original version came with the servo operated retract, and here's what it looks like. You can see it comes with the holders for the gear doors, and it's actuated by a servo like thus. And you can see there was a pocket for the servo to be mounted in there. The Highmark retracts, and this is what they look like. Very simple, just a simple rod with a little bit of a loop spring in there. And in fact, the axle is just connected with a collet adapter, and you'll see that right here. So these are the two versions of retracts offered with the previous version of Perestroika. And then let's go see Again, a close-up, as we did in the unboxing video, a close-up of these really nice JP retracts that are in this new version. Alright, so like I said, this wing is designed specifically for these retracts. So the blind nuts are already in the wing for this. So before, with either version you used, you needed to use big wood screws and drill the holes. But the blind nuts are already there, so we have the bolts. We'll just put some blue Loctite on there and secure these in. Simple as that. You can see that there is a power wire that you need to run through. There is a hole to run that through to the connector to the root of the wing. So now the retract is installed. Let's actuate it a few times, make sure it works, bring it up, and let's go ahead and put the wheel on. Now if you see here, I have 2 spots that I made with a Sharpie marker because that's where the collars are going to go, and so I wanted to just grind a little bit of a flat spot on there so the grub screws have a flat surface to adhere to. So measure that out, figure where those are going to go, and then we'll go ahead and put one collar on, tighten that up, and make sure to go ahead and put blue Loctite on those grub screws. Put the wheel on, make sure it rotates nice and freely. Now let's go to the back side and finally put that last collar on. This is always a problem when you have the tire kind of putting some pressure on the driver. It's hard to get out, especially with these smaller grub screws, so just be careful. Don't rip anything, and don't bend your driver, your nice expensive drivers. So the gear doors attach just like they did on the Perestroika, and you can see you have the button head bolts for the gear door. They attach to the connectors that are already on the struts, and you really just need to put these on and barely tighten it and then actuate the gear a few times just so you can get it seated right where you need it. I'd mentioned with Perestroika, they kind of sat up a little bit. These do fit a little bit more flush, as you can see right here, but you will have to play with it just a little bit, and then you can tighten those 4 bolts, and the gear doors are done. So let's take care of some cosmetic stuff. We're going to put the pilot head in there. That's easy with just some epoxy. But here's the canopy. Now the canopy is painted gray, and it matches really well with Perestroika. And here's a shot. It doesn't look too bad on the Perestroika, but however, that's gray covering. With the chrome covering, it does kind of stick out a lot on the Czech Mate. If you don't trim that canopy too much, and you can see in the product photos what it looks like with the gray versus the chrome. And this is straight from Seagull's website. So what I did, I took that canopy, and on the bottom side, I measured 1 centimeter around the rim of the canopy. You can see right here, and I'm just going to trim it. I was actually kind of taking a chance. I didn't know what this would look like, but it turned out really good. I'm really happy how this looks way better than having those extra pieces of plastic on there. So I just used some foam tack and glued that canopy on. So realistically, I would be able to rip that off if I needed to without causing damage. Finally, we have the little exhaust ports. We get 2 exhausts for each side. So just kind of stick them in their hole there, and it's really easy to get to those from behind. So take some epoxy on a stick or something and glue those in, and we're good to go. Everyone, that was episode 3. We did the retracts, showed you the brief history on the different type of retracts offered through the years. We did the canopy, the exhaust, and probably some history on the wing color of Czech Mate over the years that you didn't sign up for, but hey, now you know. So thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in a few days with episode 4, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.